I'd like to welcome Ontario Premier Doug Ford to our show. Premier Ford has led the province for almost 8 years, championing himself as a builder. He's building a stronger economy and is attracting new investment to the province. Prior to being in provincial politics, Premier Ford was a Toronto City Councillor. He's also a successful businessman and owner of Deco Labels. Premier Ford, welcome back to the program.
Well, thanks so much for having me on, Alan.
Excellent. Thank you again for carving out some time for us this morning. I know you're a busy guy, so we'll get right into it. I guess probably our first question that I think most listeners would want to know is, I guess heading into 2026, how do you view the state of the Ontario economy right now? Obviously, we've had some ups and downs, we've had some volatility, but what would you say? How would you say our economy is faring right now?
Well, I tell everyone coming into 2026, Alan, I'm feeling very positive. And I'm just comparing where we were at last year. Last year, President Trump was just sworn in. He was threatening our country, threatening our auto jobs, our life science, our manufacturing, our steel, aluminum sectors. And he was out to fully destroy the provincial economy, Ontario's and Canada's, along with every other country. We had a federal government that basically fell. We didn't have a federal government at the time. The premiers jumped in there and kind of led the way. Compared to this year, we have a stable federal government. We know President Trump's rules, and his rules are there are no rules. So what he did do, if there's anything he did positive, he's united the country, and that's so important. And at least we know where we're going. That we have to focus on what we do and what we can do by a wide range of different things, by cutting red tape, regulations, making sure that we create the environment and conditions for companies to come here and start investing in our own infrastructure. We're investing over $220 billion into roads and highways, transit, schools, hospitals, daycare, and really connecting communities and connecting opportunities. Last year, Alan, Ontario welcomed over $28 billion of investments, creating 57,000 new jobs. And we've been hitting the ground running because we've created that environment. And these are the numbers that we know about. I say these are the numbers we know about, the 28 billion and 57,000 new jobs, because there's so many small companies out there that might buy a piece of equipment for a couple $1 million, hiring 4 or 5 people, and there's that's where the majority of the jobs always come from, small businesses. But again, we have to focus on what we can do to make ourselves more competitive. And I announced that we're bringing the Northlander back. That's going to be incredible for the people of the North that the Liberals basically shut down. They called when the Liberals were in power, Alan, they called it a no man's land up north. So we're connecting the North. We're also unlocking the Ring of Fire, which will create, and these are very conservative numbers. We're going to add $22 billion to our economy, create 70,000 jobs. So right now, we're focused on what we can do and attract more companies. And we have a long list of companies around the world that want to come and invest in a pro-business government that runs Ontario. And it's the people. We have the smartest, brightest people anywhere in the world.
Yeah, I guess talking to a lot of business owners as I do, I know you and I speak from time to time. I guess, talking to them, they're going to focus on, or they've been focusing on a bit of a pushback, right? They're saying, 7.9% unemployment rate in Ontario. We ended the year off. We were, up and down all year. Obviously, the trade negotiations, which you just mentioned, going back and forth. And as we know, province of Ontario is the most affected province in Canada, but with respect to trade and the ups and downs of the negotiation. So I guess they're saying, how can the premier be as optimistic as he is when we're seeing some of the numbers or the data, the unemployment rate and the trade talks? How can you be as optimistic as you are when I guess a lot of businesses are sort of focusing on those two things?
Well, first of all, there's uncertainty, with Trump attacking us and going after these companies to go down south. Let's look at the last 4 months. Why am I positive? Last 4 months, Ontario created the climate and the conditions for 82,000 jobs. I can never figure out, and I'll have to sit down, I guess, with Stats Canada one day to figure out how we created 12,000 jobs last month, 82,000 in the last 4 months, and unemployment jumped up 0.6%. I'm sure they have their methodology, but all I know is if we continue creating jobs at the rate we're going, the bumps won't be as large. But is there going to be bumps? 100% there's going to be bumps. Is there uncertainty with Trump? 100%. But we have to focus on what we're doing and building our investments. And we've seen 1 million people employed since we've been in office, and that's $113 billion we've seen invested here. So, we're going in the right direction. We're the only government that I can ever remember, Alan. We've never raised a tax. We've reduced the cost of doing business here, not just on businesses, but with people as well. So we're going to continue focusing on training workers and training jobs of the future. And so far, we've trained over 750,000 workers. And just in the last year, these people found 100,000 jobs. They found employment. So we're moving in the right direction, 100%.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And along the lines, you mentioned taxes. I guess that's something you and I have talked about over the last few years. And recently in a press conference, you mentioned trying to get more money in the hands of Ontarians, of Canadians, with respect to perhaps a tax cut or continuing to lower interest rates. Two things that, well, we haven't really seen. Well, we saw some interest rates going down last year, but they didn't cut interest rates again in December. The US did cut rates. Tax cuts, well, we have not really seen any meaningful tax cuts in quite some time. So I guess my question to you, and again, a question that I talk to a lot of business folks about, is do we need to see meaningful tax cuts, continued cut in interest rates for people to get excited here in our province in Canada? Do we need to see that, or can we just go about and could continue to create growth without seeing tax cuts and cut in interest rates?
No, it's critical that we cut taxes, and it's very simple. We've cut the burden off companies by $12 billion each and every single year, and along with people as well. A couple areas, and I wish I had a big sign at every gas station that we've cut over 11.8%, I mean 11.7 cents or 10.7 cents, I should say, off the gas tax. So they'd be paying that additional 10.7 cents if we didn't do it. And that's saving families anywhere from, depending on how much gas they use, but $100 to $150 a year. We remove the tolls on the 407, 412, 418, changing, saving people $7,400. And something called One Fare. You can hop on the GO train in Barrie and come into the city, hop on the TTC. That's saving people about $1,600 a year. We cut the Ontario provincial carbon tax, and then the feds followed. So we're also looking for different ways to save money. We gave back a rebate of $200 per person rather than every government I've ever known. They believe it's their money. We don't. We have a simple philosophy, Alan. Put money back into companies' pockets. They're going to invest it into their people, into technology, into their infrastructure, buying new equipment, creating more jobs. Put money back into people's pockets, and they're going to do things that they might otherwise not be able to do. As simple as going out for a dinner or buying your kids, some supplies or clothes or putting a renovation on your house or saving to buy a home one day. So we need not only the feds to cut taxes, personal and corporate, but we need the Bank of Canada to lower their interest rates. And we have to remove the provincial portion, which we did for HST on newly built homes, and the feds followed. But I don't think that's enough for first-time home buyers. We need to cut the HST for any newly built homes for everyone. If you want to buy a new home and you've already bought one, God bless you. That's 13% we can save, let's say, on $1 million home. If you're lucky to find a single detached home for $1 million, That's $130,000 going back into people's pockets. So that's what we believe in. We're the only government ever never to raise taxes, reduce taxes, and we're going to continue reducing taxes.
And I couldn't agree with you more. And I think that there's a big push talking to a lot of tax experts. It's a big push, or at least we tried before the budget came out to try and influence Ottawa to consider cutting taxes. And I guess unfortunately they did not. And perhaps that's something to come down the road. I know you mentioned the $28 billion or more than 28 billion of growth last year, which is fantastic, especially at a time when there was so much volatility. So I just wanted to circle back to that and ask you, what do you think was the key to your success? How can we, or how did we attract so much new business, new investment into our province?
Well, one part is what I was just saying, reducing the burden off companies by $12 billion. But the other area is cutting red tape and regulations by $1.2 billion. And that saves 1.8 million working hours, meaning you can reallocate those people into more productive areas rather than filling out government paperwork and making sure we keep taxes low and creating that environment. So if they have a problem and they're coming here, they have one line to call and they can call up and you get customer service excellence, the white glove treatment. And when companies come here, they have my number, they have the minister's number, and we take care of any problems at all. We have affordable energy. We'll get into what we're doing on the energy side in a minute, but we're building out energy, the likes of which I guess the world has never seen before, especially North America, on what we're focusing on, the small modular reactors. And the whole world wants our energy. They want our small modular reactors, and we're creating opportunities for people out there as well. And so the modular reactors, we're leading the G7, the entire world, and that's going to create another 18,000 new jobs. And then we're refurbishing the Pickering nuclear generation station, and that will create another 30,000 jobs and generate power for 2 million. And then we went down to New York and signed a deal with the state of New York to share our energy expertise with them, including provinces like Nova Scotia, and we're working with New Brunswick and Saskatchewan and Alberta, and then internationally, Poland and Bulgaria. These are some of the areas that we're sharing our energy. I'll put this into perspective. When we went and signed that deal before Christmas with New York State, they were doing cartwheels because they were producing 1,000 megawatts. To put it into perspective, we're producing overall with everything 16,000 new megawatts, equaled 16 million homes basically. I thought the governor was going to fall off her chair when I said 16,000, and she thought she accomplished, which she probably did, 1,000 megawatts. So there's a big difference, and I'd love to sell our electricity not just around the world, but to our closest friends and allies, the U.S., because they need it. The data centers that are popping up that just take so much energy, they don't have the energy. They don't have the energy for their manufacturing, for their aerospace, for their military. And who has it? We have it, and we're leading the world. We're going to continue. We're building large scale nuclear facilities over in Wesleyville and Bruce C. They're adding capacity as well. So we're a nuclear powerhouse around the world. And then on the medical side, the isotopes that are coming from these nuclear facilities are going to save lives, and we're going to be leading the world in that area as well. So we're going in the right direction. I always say there's always bumps and walls we got to knock down, and not just us. It's the whole world is facing it, and all of Canada. But we're leading the world. I always say we aren't just in an economic powerhouse in Canada, in North America, but around the world, and people know it. And our number one selling feature are people. We're graduating 85,000 STEM graduates every year. We've signed MOUs with 10 other provinces and 3 territories, eliminating the trade barriers, which is equals about $220 billion or anywhere from 4 to 6% on our GDP.
Yeah, it's what an extensive list, and it's interesting because talking to people, they just don't know all the things that that you're doing, your administration that you were doing here in the province. And you hear some headlines or read some headlines, but really, they just the list is so great. And I guess that leads me to my last question. You've talked about building the most competitive, resilient, and self-reliant economy in the G7. I guess the final question I would ask you is, with that long list of things that we're doing or working on, what would you say would be the top priority right now for you and your administration in 2026? Is it more energy focused? Is it focusing on automobile and steel? And what would you say most of your attention, or at least a lot of your attention, is going towards at this point in time?
Well, before I answer that, what we can do, always look at continuous improvement. I'm big into Lean Six Sigma, and we need to continue what you just said. We have to do a better job in getting our message out there to tell people. They say you have to say something 100 times before it sinks into people. So we're going to continue doing more ads and informing the people of Ontario. But our key focus, number one, is diversifying. Diversifying. We rely on the U.S. Now we have to reach out to around the world and attract new customers, if we can call them customers, because they are. But two key areas, or even three. Number one, it has to be the energy. Everyone needs it. We're the leaders. We're going to produce it. And so that's key, and that's going to create massive, I think about 133,000 good paying jobs in total, and critical minerals. The world needs it, and we have it. We have the largest trade show in the world, PDAC, that's coming to town over the next month. The world's going to be here. We need to focus on those two, but also the manufacturing sector, making sure that we cut the red tape and regulations, reduce the burden of taxation off of them. And right before, another big area is believe it or not, is tourism, hospitality. Before we left in right before Christmas, we had four announcements. One is Niagara announcement, and that's going to create tens of thousands of jobs, making sure the destination Niagara just flows, and we're going to be getting the big, call them the big guys per se, the MGMs, the Winds of the world, coming in Niagara to create tens of thousands of jobs and opportunities there. The next day, we were with the defense bank, which is going to be massive. If we can land that, 3,500 jobs over 40 countries. They're going to need a 500,000 square foot building. The defense contractors, well over 500 here in Ontario, but around the world, will be coming to Toronto if we can win this worldwide. And then the following day, we went up to see the Prime Minister, making sure that we don't duplicate, because under Trudeau, they were duplicating everything, slowing everything down. And we need one process and one window per se, and make sure that when companies come here, they're dealing with one level of government, not two. So we're speeding that up. And then the last one I mentioned about New York State, we're working with all states. Every day I'm talking to a senator or governor, and circumventing Donald Trump, not going through Trump. I'm meeting with a whole contingent of folks in Michigan coming within an hour, both Republican and Democrats. But I can tell you, no matter if it's Republican or Democrats, I'm going to focus on Republicans. They do not agree with what President Trump is doing right now. They're totally against it. I always say a tariff on Canada is a tax on Americans, and that's what's happening.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll have to see what the Supreme Court rules coming up, I guess, anytime now. It's just refreshing, I think, for business folks that are listening to our show and watching our show to hear the focus on business and the growth and the job creation. Obviously, as you mentioned, there are bumps in the road, but with the focus on bringing new investment, new business to this province, I think that is the main goal, I think. And it's great to hear that we have so many irons in the fire, and things are moving ahead. So with that, I want to thank Premier Doug Ford for taking some time out of your busy day to spend it with us. Thank you, as always, to tell us what's going on in the great province of Ontario. I'm sure a lot of business owners will definitely learn something new, and not sure as to all the different things that are going on. So I want to thank you for coming on our show, and continued success, and continue to do the great job and bringing new business and investment to our province.
Well, thank you so much, Alan. We're going to keep moving the ball down the field a yard at a time, and as business owners know, never ever give up. I always believe the glass is half full, and we're an economic powerhouse. We went through bumps in the road, no matter if it was the pandemic or other areas, and we're going to come out stronger than ever before. I just want to thank all the businesses. You ever have a problem, call me on my cell phone. I'll get right back to you, and God bless the people of Ontario.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alan.
How was that, Phil? You all good? All right. Thank you,
Great,
Premier.
Alan.
Have a great day.
We'll look forward to coming on again soon.
All right. Take care, sir. Bye-bye.